Lefty audio. There we go. Now it's back. Muted temporarily. Because if I mute myself in one menu, it mutes me in the other menus. Because the other thing that I wanted to show you before we get too far in is that I set this thing up. This thing over here. Look at this. Look at it. There's a bug cam now. I did it. Hello. That's a thing that I did. I'm very proud of it. Can you focus on me, please? I don't know why we're having such a difficult time focusing. Anyway, we're just gonna be slightly out of focus today, I guess. Anyway. It's been a week. How's everybody been? Oh, yeah, what's up, Junebug? Hello! Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. I much appreciate that. Getting us started off strong. I'm covering my shame today. So you can't see my arms until I choose to reveal them. And that'll be if we reach the dono goal today. But that's not the main reason why we're here. The main reason why we're here is to chill. So how do you like the the new setup? Can you even tell that there's a new setup? I'm in a totally different corner now. Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna really need you to focus up. Like, why are you not auto-focusing? Did I change something? Did going into like manual exposure mode make it also go into manual focus mode? Because that's a fucking problem. Oh my god. Oh no. Yeah, so we got bug cam now. That's a new thing. Everything's very exciting. I need to figure out how to only mute myself on my waiting screen in OBS. I think what you have to do is on your waiting screen, you have to just remove your microphone from being one of the options, you know? I missed bug cam. Well, here's bug cam. Look at it. There's, if I'm gonna leave it on bug cam for any appreciable amount of time, I will put some kind of food on the log so that will become active. But I've really got to fix this camera problem. So, I see pagan things. Yes, this is my, like, little pagan altar area. So, this is that's a cauldron, and this is a crochet hook, because Lunasa was in August. On August 1st, there's a basket for Lunasa. We got some candles. One of my candles fell over. Wait, where am I? This is a dragonfly, because it's that time of year. We have this cornucopia with an apple that I crocheted. Cornucopias are usually more full than that, but I don't have very many fruits and vegetables. This is the box that contains the ashes of my dead cat, and this is a little trinket that I made out of one of his insulin bottles. I think this is actually the very first insulin bottle when he got diagnosed with diabetes. And it's got, like, some of his nail sheds and whisker sheds and other stuff in there. So, that's that. And then, you know, we got the quilt still here. And, of course, the vines. And, yeah, eventually I'm gonna put my guitar over here. But I don't have the stand for it right now, so. Another dono. Oh my god, Corpse Candy, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Enjoy your dicks. Cornicethia? Cornucopia? Cornicethia. I see what you've done there. Thank you, Corpse Candy. Much appreciated. Let me update the thingy-mabobber. There's a thingy, and it's updated. Pow! Amazing. But yeah, this fit, so like, I want to show off a little bit. This fit would show off my shoulders and my arms a lot, but no. We have to hide it. Put it away. That's what we're earning our way toward with the dono goals today. We also keep the nail sheds and whiskers we find around. Yeah, he died. So I kept some stuff. I'm deciding what to do with my cat's ashes. She passed this past week. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a real fucking bummer. But yeah, like, I don't really have a concrete plan for what else to do with his ashes. We just have, like, a spot right there. But yeah, hello everybody. I haven't, like, said hello to any specific people yet, I guess. I saw Gayfesh in here earlier. So what's up to people in the YouTube chat? Hello, Venusian. We got Speedy Shimeji. There's Gremlin Lord. Hello. Hello, Baphomet also. And Shade. What's up, Baby Squid, as well? Yeah, it has been a little while since the last stream. I have been moving. And now I'm done. So, I mean, mostly. I guess mostly done. still have various things to do. But as far as like my office is more or less totally set up. I have one more kind of angle of soundproofing that I need to get on, but otherwise, I mean, it's mostly done. Oh my god, Shellbell. Okay, thank you, Shellbell, for the $90 dono. Very generous of you, right at the top of the stream. Thank you so much. IDK, if you haven't been streaming or if I've just been busy attempting to have a life off the internet, have some money to get back on stream, and grace the Horties with your luxurious, luxterious presence and flex. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will flex. Yeah, I didn't stream for like 3 streams in a row. Yeah, like I missed Sunday, and then I missed Tuesday and Thursday last week. So maybe it was a little bit of both. But yeah, thank you. Let me update the thingy, and I will become eye candy. Are you ready? I'm gonna become eye candy now. And then I guess I'll just leave the jacket off for the remainder of stream because I really don't need it. Luxander, it's true. Ooh, hell yeah, I got approved for food stamps. That's amazing. I'm gonna have to cancel mine before too long. But yes. Oh god, I gotta pull this up so I can actually see. I gotta get myself in focus. Okay, hold on. I'm right here. I'm not going very far. I just gotta really figure out how to like get the focus to work again. I don't want it to be manual focus. Can you just turn manual focus off? Is that fine? Can we do that? Can manual focus just be off? Yay, there we go. Okay. That works a little bit better. Thank you very much. Great. Ooh, is it thunderstorming where you're at? Ooh, it's not thunderstorming where I am. Oh no, you look good in yellow. I don't wear yellow very often. I'm mostly wearing this shirt because I think it's very amusing that it says, you monster, you know. Anyway, I'm getting big. I'm getting big. It helps that my camera is much closer than it used to be. Yeah. Ooh, definition. It's coming in. Hot diggity damn. See, now I have a gym membership. It's good times. Oh, I guess I can also do this. Like, I also have the ability to do this now because I don't have a thing on the floor anymore. Like, this doesn't really look good, though. Ooh, yes. The arms. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for donos. Also, you should hit the like button if you want to encourage more people to join the stream. Because we are going to be covering some news eventually. For the time being, we're just going to chill as per usual because we're going to catch up. We haven't talked for a week, whatever. And then eventually we're going to talk into the news. Stare into the camera. Why? I'm suspicious of you. Moving boxes has made you buffer. I mean, yeah, lugging my gigantic computer and all of the related equipment around, like 2 monitors, getting my microphone and everything set up. I got some new stuff for my microphone, so I feel like the sound quality should be a little bit better than it used to be. Psychological warfare? Okay, so I'm committing psychological warfare if I stare straight into the camera. Is that how this works now? Where's the stare emote? I don't know. Is that one that I should be familiar with? It's not one that I've seen before, I don't think. Oh my god, I am so low in the frame. I didn't realize that I was going to be so low in the frame if I didn't actively try to sit up. Goodness. Anyway, I also have a ring light. Can you see? Can you see the reflection in my eyeballs? I have a ring light now. Amazing. Got some improvements while we were about it. So, yeah. With 43 concurrent viewers, I greet you. Do you think you'll want to cover the Republican primary debate this week? I hope it is quite silly. Yeah, so is this the first Republican primary debate? I have been super out of the loop, TBH. I, like, in the process of moving... Oh my god, I just dropped, like, fucking 6 viewers. In the process of moving, I've been kind of offline. Genuinely, my computer was unhooked. Oh yeah, I don't know if we have a staring one like that. my computer was genuinely unhooked for like 5 days. Like, I took everything apart and I moved it, and then for 5 days my office just was not getting set up at all. So, anyway. Trump is not going to be at this primary debate. Okay. Yeah, they were only here for the flex. Yeah, I look forward to, I guess, watching it. If you guys think that that would be good meme material to cover on stream, that would be definitely fun. Because the more stuff that, you know, you can just let a reaction occur, like honestly, like the longer the streams can go. So reacting to the primary debate seems like it could be fun. Lighting looks fantastic. Thank you. Warm tone on the skin looks nice on the cooler/green background. Cool. Yeah, Amy, don't, yeah, 5 days without a computer, cannot imagine. I still had all the good parts of the internet on my phone. I had all of the things that I needed. I just didn't have Twitter. It's like the main difference. And so I did not keep up with the news very much. Debate tomorrow, Trump is not going, but he will be surrendering to Georgia authorities on Thursday, according to him. He could always flee to Russia. I mean, it's going to be fascinating to see what happens. Did we actually get mugshots recently? Because I wasn't on Twitter, but I was on YouTube, and I saw like Vosh posted about mugshots. Was that a real thing? Just, it's crazy how many people are still like, yeah, Trump won. Trump is my president. He's my guy. Like, y'all, wow. What's up, Kitty? Got my keyboard running finally. Super excited to have you back. Pretty much whatever will help you have a nice stream. Been missing you. Ah, well, thank you. I realized, yeah, that on Thursday I didn't put a message in the Discord about not streaming, and people were like, Lux stream when? And I'm like, oh yeah, my bad. The sense of consistency is just gone now. Intense gaming withdrawal? Yeah, fair enough. This will be the one that has mugshots. Okay, so there haven't been. What are we talking about today? Yeah, so mainly today, aside from our, like, warm-up, kind of chilling and doing whatever, it's basically just, like, the two main things that I've heard about and have commentary on, which is that there was, like, a straight lady who owned a clothing store who had a gay pride flag outside the store, actually a shit ton of gay pride flags, and I guess, like, she was shot and killed by somebody who had an issue with that. So that's one of the things that I wanted to go over. And then the other thing was that trans women are apparently too smart to play chess. Like, you have an unfair advantage with your big brains, apparently. It's all about the skulls and the skull size. You have these giant skulls, therefore giant brain equals cannot play against normal women anymore, apparently. And, like, I'm sure that there were 1,000,001 other things that have happened over the course of the last week, but that's just from me over the last couple days since my computer's been plugged back in. I'm kind of checking in. That's, like, the extent to which I know about the news right now. And then, like, a whole bunch of Trump news that I just don't give a shit about for the most part, TBH. Yeah, we're gonna bust out the calipers and settle this once and for all. How is chess a gendered activity? Yeah, I know. It's, like, one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. It's, like, apparently trans women have an unfair advantage, not just in sports, but also in beauty pageants and chess. But trans men can maybe keep their titles. Actually, I thought that it was something that ended up targeting trans men as well, but mostly as a sideswipe in the more pointed attack on trans women's participation. Gonna go watch Survivor. Never been a Survivor fan, but I hope you have fun. I'm starting to feel like some kind of superhero that everyone fears. Yeah, I mean, it's like the classic thing about fascism, right? Is that your enemy is simultaneously strong and weak at the same time. So, like, trans women dominate at everything they do, but also, you know, they're sissies and, like, they're gonna make everybody take America less seriously and they're gonna degrade the quality of our military, you know? Like, at the same time, contradictory beliefs are being held. Yeah, trans men need to forfeit their titles. In the men's, like, if trans men who've competed in the men's I haven't read the articles yet. I have a couple links open. They'd have to legally detransition. And according to FIDE, trans women are men and trans men are also men. Wait, so like, does that mean trans men who got their titles before they transitioned? Okay, so yeah, trans men who competed in the women's league and then transitioned are going to retroactively lose their titles. Wow. Easily one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. But hey, I mean, that's what discrimination's all about. I mean, it's like not logical, obviously. But we're still in chill time. I'll talk about that in like 15 or 20 minutes. Eating a turkey and cheese sandwich. I ate hot dogs earlier, which is probably one of my more disgusting, sort of guilty pleasures. Just occasionally you're like, wow, I need to eat hot dogs. And then you gradually eat like an entire pack of hot dogs over the course of like 5 days, you know? Started classes today. That's very exciting. What are you going to school for? I can't remember if you said previously. Chili cheese dogs. Oh, it's so gross because it's hot outside, but it's like, yeah, I mean, they're delicious. It's terrible. Awful. And they're made with offal, most likely. So, I mean, there you go. I'm going for a master's in clinical mental health counseling. Cool. Gonna do, like, specifically trans-related mental health care stuff. I have veggies in the fridge, but I'm gonna eat a frozen pizza because I can only ever actually cook if I'm feeding more than just myself. It's definitely easier to find motivation to cook when you're doing it for someone else in addition to yourself. But I also, listen, I love to, like, cook myself a delicious meal and then go, high five me. That's a gift from me to you, me. Yes. Ooh, sometimes I have hot dogs without defrosting them. Call it a dogsicle. I can't get behind this. I'm sorry. That's like a weird pregnancy food. I can't do it. This is not, I can't get on board with this. Anyway, so like I said, usually at the beginning of the stream, we chill for a little while and then we'll actually start talking about the news. So if you're gonna hang out, hit the like button. And if you're gonna leave because you don't want to deal with our weird bullshit, then hit like before you go. Appreciate you. We made the dono goal before I even started talking about the news. So, like, the rest of it, you know, we get to just have fun and not worry about that. And it means that I can flex freely. Heck yeah. Thank you for everybody being here. I'm here for weird bullshit. Weird bullshit intensifies. I would like an iced hot dog. I would love an iced coffee. I just like, because I don't drink regular coffee anymore, I forget more often than you, like, you know, if you're drinking like full strength coffee and you forget, it's like a problem pretty immediately, right? But if you are drinking decaf, then it's much easier to just forget to drink coffee and you get much more mild caffeine withdrawal effects, but it's still like, so you know, it gets to be like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or actually it was 4 o'clock earlier and I was just too busy in the middle of what I was doing to stop and make coffee. But I was like, man, I really want coffee. Like, I can't believe I forgot that this morning. Admittedly, my daily workload is a fair amount for any gender of person, but I have also known an equal number of male or female potters and botanists, even though the jobs require dealing with a literal ton of material on a weekly basis. Yeah, I honestly thought about working in, like, a greenhouse, but you have to carry so much shit and, like, throw stuff around. Man. There are no Dunkin' Donuts in Indiana? I had never really thought about that, but that makes sense. Iced matcha is my favorite. I mean, matcha's okay. I don't love matcha. There's one Dunkin' Donuts in the entirety of Indiana. Wonderful. Wow, I feel like I was fine, and then I started streaming, and now I'm, like, desperately thirsty. I garden for a living, and I feel it at the end of the week. I honestly, mad respect to people who do landscaping, or, like, mowing lawns, or any kind of gardening or plant cultivation. It's not easy. Not easy. Throw me around. Yeah, true. Honestly, okay, listen. Can we talk about the weather for a minute? Flops into chat. Hello, EB. Welcome in. Yeah, so it's insane. It's like so hot. I'm like not even done moving, and I'm having to like basically put a pause on that for the entirety of the week that it is now because it's going to be 100 degrees all week. And like I can go to the gym and stuff in the morning, and then like it's 10 a.m. and I'm like, I can't be outside anymore, you know? So I have a very limited amount of time to actually get anything done that requires going places. Excuse me. Hello, Dizzy. I'm being informed by a little whisper network that someone I loathe is alienating everyone from their circle, and the sense of validation and schadenfreude is delightful. Anyway, hi. Oh, nice. Is this, from your days, getting alienated from a group because of, like, one asshole? It's always fun. I'm gonna hack at the hedges again soon. Things have grown so much with the rain this year. I would kill for some, like, cloud cover, much less rain right now. It is so fucking hot and unpleasant. Even going outside in the morning, you know, I'll go out at, like, 8 a.m. to go to the gym or to go to the grocery store or whatever the hell is my morning routine. And, like, it's just immediate. You're like, no, this is a problem. I have a problem. Smoke from Canada gave us cloud cover and it became cooler. Oh my god, that's depressing. There is like a mild, like, look, there is a mild sheen of smoke just like all over the continental United States. Looking at like the fire and smoke map. Make sure that this is not gonna dox me. Okay, no, I don't think that there's anything about this that's gonna dox me. So, like, this is the whole place, you know? And, like, there's thicker smoke up here and, like, over here, obvi. But, like, yeah, this entire area, all of this gray, that's, like, a thin layer of smoke. And, like, the cleanest air is in fucking Nevada. Like, across the entire country, the cleanest air is in Nevada. 'Cause nothing can burn there, presumably. Like, what the fuck? So, yeah, this is what we have to deal with now. It's been so mild here in Pennsylvania this year. I tell you what, climate change has changed Pittsburgh for the better. It's, like, mild year-round now. It's not gonna last that much longer. You know, you got maybe, like, another 10 or 15 years before, like, this entire, like, southern half of the U.S. is basically uninhabitable. Canadian fires are absolutely insane. Yeah, because it's stuff like, there is, like, a beetle that kills pine trees that, you know, the winters aren't killing off the beetles the way that they're supposed to, so that there's way more beetles killing the pine trees now, and that's, like, one of the things that causes a lot of... I mean, it basically just makes them exponentially worse, right? It doesn't, like, necessarily cause the fires in and of themselves, but you have, like, a shit ton more dead trees than you normally would. Going outside feels near impossible. I'm visibly drenched on my back, pits, and underboob just from driving somewhere and walking across the parking lot. PA isn't going to reach an uninhabitable point due to heat, though. We are hella far north. I mean, I guess. In like 40 years, though? I don't know. It'll kind of depend. There are wildfires 500 clicks from the Arctic Circle now. Look at us! Look at what we've achieved! We've done so well. The high here in Ohio today was 80. Yeah, you have to live in a poisonous environment, but at least it's not, like, 100 degrees. They evacuated a very northern city in Canada because of the wildfires. It was Yellowknife. It's everywhere. Oh shit, that's no good, Pi. I have COVID for the 3rd time in 15 months. Although I'm vaxxed up, it messed me up really bad. I'm basically ill for 15 months. Yeah, that's really not great. There's going to be another vaccine that's supposed to come out in like September, and that's supposed to be targeting the XBB subvariants. But I mean, yeah, how did you manage that? Like, is that just like a job thing, or do you have a kid? Because I know that's the really tough thing. Is unless you're like willing to homeschool your kids, it's like basically impossible to avoid getting sick over and over again. Ah. Be far better off here than the Pacific Northwest in that time? Really? I know that like close, like super close to the coast, it's still supposed to be fairly temperate in the Pacific Northwest. I dread the school year starting. Yeah, I mean, there's already like, if we had adequate testing right now, based on the wastewater numbers, we would be reporting in America 5.5 million new cases of COVID per week. So like, it's kind of real fucked up right now. And it's like school hasn't even started yet. Yeah, that's tough, definitely. And there are also other pathogens. Oh, you know, I'd never really thought of that. Other pathogens that aren't being adequately controlled by freezes. Oh, in the mountains. Okay, yeah, I mean, that makes more sense. Yeah. Everyone's adapted to certain kinds of weather. Changing the weather everywhere means that events that would be considered mild in one city occurring in one that is totally unprepared will be far more disastrous. Right. Like, didn't we talk about it? Did we talk about it last time, or have I not seen you since there was a hurricane set to go in California? And like California, yeah. Like a lot of the times, it's not like entirely uncommon for a mostly diffused tropical storm to end up with some like, you know, wind and rain on the coast of California. But as far as like the landfall of a tropical storm, that's like a once in a lifetime event. And, you know, it ended up, I think, not being as severe as it could have been based on just some of the folks I've seen talking. I know like a weird number of people who live in California. I guess there's just a lot of people who live in California. So if you know a lot of people on the internet, you'll naturally end up knowing a bunch of people who live there. I don't know. I was in SoCal and got some heavy rain, but it wasn't that bad in the Mojave Desert. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the problem is that, like, literally any amount of rain could represent a risk of flash flooding in a desert because they don't have, like, you know, any infrastructure for dealing with water. Yeah, and also concrete cannot soak up groundwater. I read an article recently about the rise of fungal soil diseases in some places for people and plants. Yeah, over the last few years, I keep hearing news stories about like increasing amounts of fungal infections. And I'm not sure if that's like entirely COVID related or if that's like more climate change related. We've had worse flooding from past storms. Okay, good. I'm glad that it did not get too crazy over there. Well, so the question, Junebug, about the fungal infections as it relates to COVID is there an immune response that is being suppressed? And then, like, you're more prone to different kinds of infections, including fungal infections? Not sure. Unclear. We could speculate about it all day. You know, like, who knows what causes any of these things. But we know for a concrete fact that fungal infections are occurring more frequently. My mom isn't getting any more COVID-19 vaccines because she thinks incorrectly that they caused my uncle's heart failure. It's like so maddening how many people are attributing things that are obviously an impact of COVID to the COVID vaccine, as though like okay, like these people don't understand what is happening. Obviously, like the vaccine is like a dumbed down version or a dead version of the virus. So how could the virus do something to you that couldn't also happen to you 10 times worse from being exposed to the actual live virus? Like, oh my God, it's maddening. It's like, yeah, there's a bunch of people dying of heart failure and like cardiac disease and shit because it's a vascular disease. But yeah, frustrating. Hey, Mersh, hello. I was dealing with the insurance company. However, I'm finally going to get the money they owe me next week. Nice. Congratulations. Because there was, your car accident, right? Yeah. I'm glad to hear that they're going to be paying out for you. The Well, There's Your Problem podcast had a good episode with a guy from the Pennsylvania Bureau of Forestry. A lot of tree species being fucked over by things that would normally be subdued by winter snows. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's the Simpsons post that goes around like every summer, basically, you know? Like, this is the hottest summer of my entire life. Like, nope. It's the coldest summer of the rest of your life. Be optimistic, you know? Oh yeah, of course, insurance doing everything that they can to prevent from paying out. That's what they're great at doing. Any hoozle. Is there any, like, fun news that we should talk about before we talk about the serious stuff? Like, is there anything... Oh, I think that there was something that I found pretty funny. If I can open yet another Twitter tab. I have too many Twitter tabs. Oh my gosh. Dark Canuck says, on a lighter note, a Quebec woman got 22 years for sending a poison letter to Trump. That's pretty funny. I mean, it's not great that she got 22 years, I guess, but, like, her sending a poison letter is pretty baller. That's so Victorian. Summer is the inside season and winter is the outside season now. Honestly, I'm like, listen, I kind of genuinely almost at this point want to live in a place that is more winter than not, because I'm like, listen, this is a great opportunity for me to wear a bunch of, like, rabbit fur and stuff. It would be so comfy, just, like, wearing leather all the time. That would be amazing. And I would be able to cool off appropriately. I have temperature problems. It's not good. Oh, and yeah, so I guess it's worth mentioning just briefly that, Elon Musk is talking about getting rid of the block feature on Twitter. And honestly, the block feature is the only thing left making this website, like, worth being on. So I'm not really looking forward to, like, having all of those blocks undone. I'm already not really on Twitter very much, and it's going to be even less after that. Big time. But I did want to look at this kind of funny Twitter thing while we're here to goof around. I'm tired of Twitter being relevant. I enjoyed that it was a place that I could get news and talk to a bunch of people, like, as though we're on the same level with each other, whatever. Like, I can get in touch with, like, the author of my favorite book series and stuff like that. You know, Twitter, in some ways, I'm actually really bummed out that it sucks now. But whatever. Like, it just is what it is. If it wasn't literally impossible for him to remove blocking without quite literally taking the platform worse than MySpace or Tumblr, is it really? Yes, I'm going to become the dragon of the North Pole. I'm just going to, like, curl up and sleep in the snow. And that sounds perfect. I've been using Blue Sky. Yeah, I'm on Blue Sky. If anybody... I have one invite right now, so I guess if anybody is interested in an invite to Blue Sky, I have one at the moment. You need to have a block feature in order to have your app on app stores. Whoa. Kicking stuff over. Blue Sky is a social media that honestly looks a lot like Twitter. Let me make sure there's going to be no porn on the front page. Okay, yeah, so this is what Blue Sky looks like. And it's basically a Twitter clone. There's no DMs lately. No DMs. They don't have them set up, I don't think. It would be literally worse than Tumblr banning porn if Twitter was not available on the mobile. Yeah. Maybe he's trying to destroy the app? Like, is he just trying to tank the whole thing? I like Blue Sky because Lux pointed at my butt on there. I mean, you posted pictures and I said butt. That's a butt. I'm not terribly active on social media. Yeah, no worries. It's, like, relatively unhealthy in some ways. My sweetheart is 3 episodes away from the end of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Ugh. I love it so much. I'm due for a rewatch soon. What's up, Anansi? got out of the bad abusive living situation in Boise. Fuck yes. High fives. Anyhoozle. So one thing that I did kind of want to look at before talking about the serious anti-queer news today is all the quote tweets on this tweet. So this dude, Josh or whatever, says, when trans rights activists / men's rights activists, love how we're lumping those two groups of people in together, as though men's rights activism isn't like a very specific, irritating thing that is like probably relatively opposed to trans rights anyway. It's because they can't help but like accuse trans women of being men trying to assert their rights over women in some weird bullshit context. So when trans rights activists and men's rights activists mock regular people who say, rightly so, that they can tell who is trans and who is not, because they believe you absolutely cannot tell, my question to you is, why aren't trans women ever asked or approached to be surrogates? And so, like, there's the obvious initial stupidity of, like, you don't really ask random people to be surrogates. You genuinely, you like, ask people that you know, right? So if you know a woman in your life well enough to ask her to be a surrogate for you, you probably would know whether she's got a uterus or not, you know? Like, you know, just for the first thing, that's the number one. Number two is the sheer volume of people who have quote tweeted this and described their situations in life where they've been mistaken for cis people. Like, so this trans woman says, my new doctor, when was your last smear test? Me, I don't have a cervix. Why do you think that? Because I'm transgender. How long have you thought you were really a man? I've never thought I was really a man. I'm a trans woman. Doctor goes, right, but it's like, ... Like, and this is basically the entire gist of most of these quote tweets. Callan Conrad says, I've had trans men assume I'm a trans dude, and gender critical people have called me a, quote, confused female. Maybe I'm clockable, but bitch, nobody knows what time it is. Yeah, Zinnia said, I've had an oral surgeon ask me if I was pregnant before an x-ray, and then they put the lead cover on anyway after I told them that I was trans. Steph says, multiple times in my life at a doctor's or specialist appointments, I've said, I don't have a uterus, and they've looked at me like I had it ripped out of my body by an alien. Oh, God. This person says, I was at the doctor, told the nurse who was doing my intake stuff that I was there to get a checkup on my hormones. She was great, and we were talking about our piercings and tattoos, and after admitting we both had our nipples pierced, she recommended I get a clit piercing. Girl, they don't know what time it is. I get smear test letters every few years. When I see my doctor in person, they ask if I am or have ever been pregnant, even though my records are right in front of them saying that I transitioned. The other day I was standing next to a friend and his baby, and a woman in the queue asked me, how old is your baby? It just keeps going on. It just goes on and on forever like this. So many examples. I think that these are like all real, these are like surrogate examples. Oh, this is great. I'm not exaggerating that I had to argue with my boyfriend's mom that I was trans and that I don't have a womb because she just wouldn't accept it. And TBH, I think she is still confused about it. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is rich. I played 20 questions with a nurse prior to a surgery where she was frantically trying to figure out why I said I didn't need a pregnancy test and why there was no record of my last menstruation. What surgery was I in for, you might ask? It was my vaginoplasty. Like, oh no. That's too funny. Also, Shade, I saw you talking earlier. You're getting your operation gear together, so that's awesome. Glad to hear that things are moving along in that regard. My BFF is someone I'd marry in a heartbeat if they were into it, but they did offer to donate an egg. Hey, there you go. Fingers crossed that uterus transplants for trans women become a thing. True. I've been asked when my last pap smear was. Yeah, I saw Poppy just got her bottom surgery. She seems to be doing well, considering that she's on Twitter, you know, shitposting. Yes, designer vagina installation kit. Hell yes. I know, like, what are they doing? What, like, she's literally there to get a vaginoplasty. Like, what? Okay. I don't understand. Yeah, just a shit ton of trans women are like, when I go to a hospital, I regularly get asked if there's any possibility that I could be pregnant. And I always say, no, it's not possible, and that I'm a trans. And then they will always go on to then ask me when my last period was. Like, I guess they just always assume if you tell, if they didn't clock you, if you're passing, then when you say I'm trans, they always assume that you haven't started T yet, or that you haven't started E or whatever. Like, and that you are not yet transitioning, basically, because it's just like so impossible for them to think, oh, this is a fully like transitioned person or whatever. Like, I cannot imagine that a trans person could pass and I couldn't tell by glancing at them what genitals they have. And yet they have to ask those questions for liability reasons. I don't, what, like, if they don't ask men that, then there's no liability reasons. I mean, I think that there are instances where, like, men are being asked those questions more, but I think that that's, like, a result of increased trans awareness, that you could have someone who looks totally like a man who is also pregnant. But, like, generally speaking, I don't think that, by and large, men are asked, like, when was your last menstrual time? You know? Although I think it would be funny if it was completely standardized. Big time, I get asked if I'm planning to take tea, and I don't know if they're doing it to flatter me, but they can totally keep that shit up. Yeah, amen. Oh, gosh. Yeah, exactly. They think they can always tell. That's the root. Oh, I guess that's funny. Yeah, my 60-year-old dad was asked if he could possibly be pregnant before his last x-ray. They're asking everybody. Yeah. So I just figured that was an amusing little thing to run through. Oh, this is a trans man who says, when I had to get an x-ray, the tech handed me the lead mat for my crotch and made a joke about preserving the family jewels. They absolutely cannot tell. Maybe he looked submissive and breedable. True. 60-year-old man, submissive and breedable. Absolutely. Beautiful. I'm just gonna scroll through for a second and see if there's any other fun ones. This person says, I can't think of the last time I went to a medical exam where I wasn't asked if there was a possibility I was pregnant or how my periods were. I also got recommended for an ovulation test because of hormone levels, and I had to explain that me not ovulating was correct. This is kind of funny, though, because, like, once a month I think about asking a friend who is trans if he would be our sperm donor, and then I have an oh wait moment. Even the queers do it sometimes. Yeah, I have blocked so many people on this website recently. It truly, like, makes the whole thing functional. Alright. I asked the doctor why the pregnancy questions when I am obviously gay, and his answer was liability reasons. I mean, you, like, ostensibly have the organs involved, at least. My dad is against my transition, but got prescribed tea to inject since he is aging. Ironically, he wants me to help him since I know how to use a needle. I mean, maybe it'll be a bonding experience. Maybe you can do your tea shots together. One of my favorite things are trans people who pass so well that the transphobes assume that they are their assigned gender and try so hard to misgender them that they affirm them. Yeah. Oh, I take E. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you can take your E at the same time then. And then it's a bonding experience. We should talk about serious news. Because I have, like, multiple articles up and ready. Oh, my stepdad wanted help finding a source for tea, asked if I got it from my top surgeon. Very uncomfy. Yeah, let me just go to my dealer, my top surgeon. Here's a fun thing my doctor told me this past week. Oh, this is something for all you girls. There was a new discovery last year that even 1 cigarette's worth of nicotine per day is enough to reduce the amount of E that you can get from your meds by like 70%. So not only could it increase your stroke risk, it will literally kill your transition as well. Yeah, I've heard that nicotine is pretty bad for estrogen uptake for some reason. I don't really know why, but, you know, girls. Whenever you see, like, a skinny trans girl who can't grow tits and she's smoking cigarettes, you know why. I gotta check the orchiectomy clinic, squeeze some tea out of the discarded balls. True. I wonder about caffeine. I'm sure that all of these things affect the body in wildly unpredictable ways. I've heard entirely opposite that nicotine doesn't affect estradiol valerate, and I've been consuming nicotine most of my transition and have DDs. It's like, doesn't it matter whether you're taking it orally versus, like, injection? It does affect oral the most. Okay, that's what I assumed. Wishing you could donate testes the same way you can donate kidneys. That would be interesting. If you could just take, like, the testicles of, like, another person or a pig or something and just, like, implant that, and then you just have your own production. Oh my gosh. There's still, like, a little bit of, like, fungus gnats. We are working on killing those. On injections for 6 years, just switched to oral because I'm so the fuck over having to go get a shot every week. I really don't love doing shots. And I would switch to gel, but it's, like, more expensive and fucking annoying, so I'm just like, well, I guess I'll be on the amount of testosterone that my body wants to make, which is, I think, a little bit higher than most people. Hard to say, though. As a cis female, I've been on progesterone for over a decade for birth control. I honestly have no idea what it does, but I love not having a period. I'm really jealous that you don't have a period at all on progesterone. I take the progestin-only pill, and I still have highly irregular and painful periods, and it's not fun. I'm on progesterone now and literally always bleeding. Yeah, everybody's body is different. You're always going to react to it differently. So, yeah, where should I start with this chess thing? Oh my god. We have Pink News, I have Aaron Reed, and I have a clip from Fox News. Did you see that fun fact about how Viagra could have been a period pain manager? Yeah, I knew about this like 5 years ago. Or more than that, I can't remember. Like, I was in, like, Illinois visiting family when I learned the fun fact that Viagra was discovered to have a potential effect of helping period cramps, and then I guess they could only choose to develop it for one reason. And, like, even the Viagra aspect of it was, like, a side effect because it's like a cardiovascular medicine. And, like, so the boner thing even wasn't, like, part of their goal. But then they went with that, like, apparently not thinking that you would sell a lot of it if it was for period cramps. I don't know. It's sorely tempting to get in touch with your doctor and be like, hey, will you prescribe me Viagra off label for these period cramps? Like, I've never asked before. I would give someone my uterus if I secretly hated them. Yeah, what does this link actually say, though? Yeah, when Viagra was tested initially as a heart medication, its well-known properties for men were discovered. However, in subsequent tests, the same drug was found to offer total relief for serious period pain over 4 hours. This did not impress the male review panel, who refused further funding, remarking that cramps were not a public health priority. Pretty dumb. Viagra can still be prescribed off-label for cramps. Learned that from the show House MD. Hey, thank you, Renako, for the tier 1 sub. Enjoy your dicks. Just found your stream, and I really enjoy your content. I'll definitely be sticking around. Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing you in more streams. Good stuff. Yeah, 50% of the population aren't a public health priority. Listen, there are elusive cis females who exist, and maybe other types of people, but, like, I know at least one cis woman who's like, yeah, I don't have really strong period cramps. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, I don't believe you, you know? Why did that switch to something else? Okay. It was not F. I just hit a button on my keyboard and it switched the scenes. My bad. But yes. There is some evidence that trans women can get hormonal cycles similar to AFAB, though not the same level of cramps naturally. I mean, it can be the same level of cramps, because it's not just the muscles in your uterus that cramp. It's like all smooth muscle fiber in the area, which is why you get weird digestive symptoms during your period. But yeah, I mean, I'm fully on trans women have periods train, but that's because my periods are, like, predominantly defined by all these other symptoms, like, you know, the pain and the digestive issues and the, like, sluggishness and all that shit, you know? So for me, like, those things are almost worse than the bleeding itself. They're almost more central to the experience than the bleeding itself. So I'm very much willing to say that trans women, when they get the same symptoms on the same schedule, literally everything except the bleeding, they do have, like, cramps and stuff. And, like, so do people who've had a hysterectomy. If you've had a hysterectomy, but you still kept your ovaries, you will still have a period. Probably on the same, like, schedule. You just won't bleed. I'd have just sold Viagra twice, but changed the look and just... Yeah, literally make twice as much money. Literally double the money that you make. If you're just like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if it's like a public health concern. We just make boner pills for 50% of the people and period cramp pills for the other 50% of the people. It's like not even a good decision for money making. I don't get it anyway. Now I have to keep track of if I have a worse week every month. I would recommend for any of you girls out there, you can use the app Clue, because I think that you can actually tell it not to count your bleeding. Like, it's a, like, really gender neutral, inclusive, very comprehensive app that I've used for several years. And they store all of your data in Germany, which means that your period-related data cannot be seized, like in a weird, creepy government way, you know? So many dicks. Wait, what is this? Epoxy resin testicles. Oh, yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that that's a gift that I would make. Sponsor segments, Dick's Pills. True. October 20th, after 4 p.m., RP is doing another fundraiser if you want us to keep you in mind for a panel guest. Yeah, let me see, what day is that? And, because I have, I'm going to be busy in September and October, but I think that, ooh, I would say keep me in mind, although I don't know if I'm going to have the capacity, because it'll be the first weekend that I'm going to be free after, like, a very intensive, like, 8 weeks of my life, and I might not be, I might not have, like, very much energy to talk, like, yeah, but I'm glad to hear that you guys are going to be doing another fundraiser. Did you guys, filed for 501c3 status? Rainbow Passage, everybody. rainbowpassage.org, if you didn't know about it before. We've done a little fundraiser for them before. I should probably mention it more often as I do these segments about, like, violence against trans people and stuff. But yeah, they're getting 501c3 status. Support them, because they're getting trans people out of dangerous situations, like getting them out of Florida and Texas and getting them to safer places. Had a rough couple months. Yeah. It has indeed been rough. Do I have exclamation point rainbow? Or do I need to make that? What's up, Capybara? I started a new 8-hour college class and about to start suffering a new job tomorrow. High fives. Good on you for making money. Always good. Okay, so I have this, like, pink news article. Is there any good news? Not really. Yeah, it has been a rough couple months. Licking some wounds. Yeah. I don't blame you for wanting to take a break. Oh, Violet's gonna be getting a date for SRS soon. That's good news. If you guys ever have good news that you want me to cover, you can post it in the Discord server. There's like a stream recommend. Also, here's another thing. Don't have conversations in the stream recommendations thing. Because then I gotta scroll through all your conversation to find the links. Come on. It's like the only channel in there that I don't want you guys to converse. Busy Bambino. Yes, I'm gonna be a busy Bambino. I am the Bambino. So sad. Mersh, I'm so psyched that you got a girlfriend. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm censoring your Freeze Peach. You don't have Freeze Peach in the Discord server. Not allowed. The only recent good news was British chess players rejected the trans ban in the International League. Yeah, I think that that's probably a thing that I'll want to add into this if it's not already. I don't think it's already in the articles that I have. So I will want to look up that one link and include that in the segment. Yeah, let me find that. Like, British... Speak out. Excuse me. Yeah, I know, Junebug. It's pretty fucking dumb. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I have a Pink News article about this as well. Good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna do it in this order. I have a certain order for things now. Yes. So do it more. Anansi, I swear to God. How dare. How dare. Okay, well, I suppose we should talk about things. Do I want to... Hold on, let me just ever so slightly zoomed out. Just a little tiny bit. Just a little bitty bit. Sure. Okay. Been on E for 11 months now. Ooh, getting very close to your transiversary. Hell yeah. This is stupid, but I love it so much. What are we looking?
I go first?
Oh, this lady. Yeah, hold on. Headphones. Guy loses a chess game in 2 moves.
I go first?
You go first.
Right.
You said you were gonna beat me at chess.
Yeah, no. I know. No, watch. G4. Get the bishop out.
I'm just gonna play simple chess. I'm just putting my pawn in the center of the board. Nothing
Okay.
to see here.
I move my... She's not gonna see this fucking coming.
She's like, do you not know what you just did? Oh no. Oh no. If you didn't see what happened, he moved the pawn out that was protecting his king, and then she just moved her queen, and then there would have been nowhere for the king to move that wasn't still directly in the line of fire. He was watching her and not the board. Yeah, her boobs. They were too much of a distraction. Welcome back. I have tea. Oh, delicious. I forgot coffee earlier. I'm gonna have to literally make coffee after stream in order to satiate my desire, in order to slake my lust. Okay. The one people do as a troll to get out of playing a game as fast as possible. Yeah, he really did fail quite spectacularly. So, do y'all remember that the guy who is a chess player, and he admitted that he had cheated on like online chess and stuff, and then he was accused of somehow cheating, and we weren't it was kind of unclear for a bit like how he could have cheated, and then people were like, ah yes, he has an anal plug, and it's like a vibrator or something. And that, you know, was wonderful. It gave us the meme of, I cannot speak. If I speak, I will be in trouble. You know, you got some solid memes out of the chess world, right? Not everything is so nice in the chess world. Hello, YouTube. In the future, the chess regulator bans trans women from competitive play for 2 years. Quote, these are dark days. So this is quite recent news. Trans women are going to be banned from competitive chess tournaments for up to 2 years internationally. Like the International Chess Federation has now announced a list of council meeting decisions. Among the decisions is updating the policy on chess player participation for transgender participants. Now, I'm probably going to spin this as trans women too smart to play chess anymore, but this is going to affect trans men as well. So I just want to make that clear that this is kind of going to negatively affect all trans people who play chess. The newly approved policy decrees that trans women have, quote, no right to participate in official FIDE events for women until further decisions are made. Quote, such decisions should be made based on further analysis and shall be taken by the FIDE Council at the earliest possible time, but no longer than within that 2-year period. Players who have recently come out as trans will be placed in an open section for now. So I guess you can play co-ed, like if there's already a league that is for men and women. As a trans person, you're allowed to play in that one, but as a trans woman, you're not allowed to play versus women. Fun story, their ruling is actually not legal according to UK law of all places. It's going to be fun to see all the ramifications of this. The chess regulator offered no reasons for its decision, but added that the rules applied to all competitions under its associated organizations. And then here's how it affects transgender men. Trans men are reportedly set to be stripped of any titles that they won pre-transition, unless they were to change their gender back to a woman, and then they can prove the ownership of the respective FIDE ID that holds the title. So you would have to change your name. Like, do you have to not only change your gender back, but you have to, like, change your name back or something? I don't know. But yeah, so if you played as a woman and then you transitioned, you're going to retroactively lose your title. And trans women, I mean, is it also going to be like trans women who won as women will not be able to keep their titles? Or have there not been instances of trans women winning, and so there are no people to strip titles from, you know? Yeah, like, why do we even have a gender divide in the first place in chess? Like, what possible reason could there be for this to be, like, discriminated against in this way? Like, I mean, like, why is there a men's and women's league in the first place? Well, okay, so here's the reason, I think, that there's a men's and women's in the first place. It's because chess players who are men are super toxic. Like, just super duper duper toxic, you know? And in the same way that, you know, computer science tends to be dominated by men and certain STEM fields tend to be dominated by men, the reason is because sexism and harassment and sexual assault are normalized in certain spaces. And, like, so then you, in some cases, create a separate women's league because women want one, you know? Like, women want to play without having to deal with all those things, and so then they want to be, like, alone and, like, not having to play versus men, which, like, the problem that you address, I think that you should just address the sexism and stuff and start disqualifying players who are acting, you know, in such a way as to make the sport inaccessible to people, rather than going with, like, a separate but equal, you know, protected categories kind of way with this. Yeah, and interestingly, the FIDE Ethics and Disciplinary Code 2022 states in Section 6.6 that it does not tolerate discrimination in chess on the basis of race, gender, ethnic origin, color, culture, religion, political opinion, marital status, sexual orientation, or any unfair or other irrelevant factor, except as permitted by law. We don't discriminate unless it's allowed. Oh, no. All right, I want to see if Erin Reed has anything additional to add to this. So, looking at her thing, the regulations reported online by French transgender FIDE master Yosha Iglesias spells out a list of policy changes applying to transgender competition in chess. Yeah, trans men must relinquish their women category titles after transitioning. Transgender women can keep their previous titles when they were in the men's league, I'm guessing. Trans women have, quote, no right to compete in the women's division. Trans women will be, quote, evaluated by the FIDE Council on if they will be allowed to compete in a process that may take up to 2 years. FIDE can mark transgender players as transgender in their files. No way that could go badly. Gender changes must, quote, comply with the player's national laws and may include birth certificate documents, despite many nations refusing to change trans birth certificates. So, this isn't the first instance of scrutiny regarding trans participation in non-physical competitions. In 2022, oh my god, I remember this! Transgender Jeopardy champion Amy Schneider set the record as the highest winning woman in Jeopardy history. Following her success, several anti-trans voices online claimed that she unfairly took the title from, quote, real women. Whoa, okay, the camera's doing its thing again. Suggesting that transgender women, possess an inherent advantage in trivia over cis women. We back? We're back now? Okay, thank you. Thank you for being back now. Much appreciated. So it's like they're literally making the argument that, like, cis women are dumber than men, like, because they're considering trans women to be men, right? So when I'm it's like they are in multiple instances now basically acting like women are too stupid to competitively play against men. Yeah, this is not the checkmate these people think it is. It's just like the biggest self-own ever. Like, just because you feel inferior to men doesn't mean that women are inferior to men. Honestly, just sounds like a skill issue. Truly. Yeah, I mean, they also, like, act like it's like, are trans people intellectually superior? Is that the angle? Or are they just saying men are superior mentally? Like, I don't know. Guys, it's okay. I started Trans Femme HRT and my IQ immediately dropped by like 30. Yeah, not only do you end up at the same level physically as cis women after a couple years of HRT, but you're also just as blonde and ditzy. You transition into the bimbo. Instead of the bimbo picking up a book and transitioning into your friendly neighborhood lesbian, it's the other way around. You transition into a bimbo. All the IQ goes into the boobs. You know, the IQ is stored in the boobs. Can you imagine how smart Doe must have been before transitioning? Honestly, Doe had to be nerfed. Oh, gosh. Let's see. Yeah, so there's no logic behind revoking titles from trans men who had transitioned in the women's category previously, or had played in the women's category previously. No explanation for that. These rules are delaying trans women from competing for up to 2 years while this gender is examined thing. Given that the usual, quote, unfair argument doesn't apply logically in this context, these regulations appear to unfairly target trans individuals while sidestepping even the usual arguments against trans competition. Yeah, like you have to be a certain level of dumb in order to participate, I guess. Transitioning into the blonde bimbo. I called you out. I know what's happening. The idea that they believe women are dumber than men is honestly the Steelman version of their argument. I mean, they do think that, but their grievance comes from believing that trans people are gross and need to go away. They want us excluded and feel slighted when a trans woman gets a spot they feel should go to a, quote, normal. Well, yeah, of course. Like, at the end of the day, this is always about just wanting trans people to be invisible and wanting them to not be successful, you know? Which, by the way, since this is going to be a segment on YouTube later, speaking of trans success, I have a Patreon. I've been posting there even for free sometimes, so check that out if you want to. There's a link in the cards, and there's a link in the description, and this is my job to talk about this news and bring it to you. So if you'd like to support, please and thank you. Also hit like, maybe, whatever. No skin off my ass. It's transphobia all the way down. And, like, yeah, computer science isn't inherently masculine or feminine. Like, none of these things are inherently masculine or feminine. It's just, like, men get, like, harassed by other men when they go into a traditionally feminine role like nursing. And women get, like, constantly undercut by men who are jealous of them in similar positions when they go into a male-dominated field. Because, like, male supremacy is being threatened, ultimately. You know? That's why women get the shaft end of the deal. Like, cis women, and in particular, usually. And, like, but yeah. Trans women, it's like, oh no, how dare you step on anybody's toes. If they want us to be invisible, maybe they should encourage us to start hormones at the onset of puberty. Transness would all but disappear. Well, no, transness wouldn't disappear. They would still have to, like, accept that trans people are what we are. And they want us dead, to be clear. They don't want us invisible, I should clarify. They want us to be dead or desisting. And it's not like they will capitulate by giving us puberty blockers when we ask for them. Riley Gaines defends ban on trans women in chest. You hear the argument about brain size and brain ability. That's missing the point. That's missing the point somehow.
Federation bars transgender women from competing
This is not loud
in
enough.
women's chess events. What do you make?
Hold on, let me try to fix this. It's not loud enough.
World Chess Federation bars transgender women from competing in women's chess events. What do you make of that? Not an athletic sport. It's a mental sport. I mean, all sports are mental to some extent, but what do you make of that?
I think it's really interesting because we have sports such as powerlifting, which is, of course, sheerly based on strength, who aren't even taking this much precaution. And so I applaud the Chess Association. It's, you know, you hear the argument about brain size and brain ability if it differs between male and female. But I think that's missing the point. The point is that the women's category is meant for women, and having men compete in it is still taking spots away from women. The women's chess category, I guess, was created for a reason, and they're upholding that. And so I applaud the Chess Association for the decision and really prioritizing fairness, prioritizing what it means.
Can we just say, like, how absurd it is that you get on Fox News and you're on your fucking phone, clearly using, like, your phone's inbuilt camera and microphone both? Like, is this the standard? Put me on the news. I have, like, actual equipment. I'm not being driven somewhere in a car. Like, the lack of professionalism here is part of what is bothering me so much. But yeah, like, she also reveals the women's category is meant for women. This white blonde bitch is confirming what I've been saying about the bathrooms issue for like a year, is that ultimately the issue is about them wanting to have spaces that like don't have icky people in them. You know, it's literally the same logic as wanting a colored only bathroom versus a whites only bathroom. It's like white women just believe that they should have the right to not see people that they don't want to see. It's like and it goes all the way back to having like servants' quarters and like a separate door to the house where the servants came in, and they have like all these like corridors and like hallways and stuff for the servants to go from room to room without ever having to be acknowledged by the people who like own them or whatever, you know? Like, it's all about white women just wanting to be exempt from having to exist in public, basically. Like, they're like, I have no choice but to go do my own grocery shopping because I don't own a slave like my great-great-grandmommy did. So what I would like is to go to a grocery store where there are no black women or trans people. Like, is, you know? Tuning into Fox News to watch the Luxander show, truly. All trans women aspire to be as much of a dom blonde bimbo as Riley Gaines, truly. So, yeah, Ari continues saying, stop gaslighting us with your argument that trans women can't play sports with other women because it's supposedly unfair if there's actually no circumstance, venue, or level of competition where you think trans women should be included. Riley Gaines has built her career in right-wing media on Leah Thomas' name. Oh, is this that girl? This is that girl who was like, I didn't even race against Leah Thomas, but because we changed in the same locker room, I'm going to cry about it. Like, wow. But there was at least one positive outcome about this whole chess thing, is that the English Chess Federation, quote, will not exclude trans women, despite the international ban. So the English Chess Federation said that it will not be a pawn in the International Chess Federation's anti-trans game and will continue to welcome all players, which is like pretty funny because there are just so many anti-trans people in the UK, including like the actual prime minister right now. Excuse me. And like plenty of MPs and other government officials and people who work within the NHS, all kinds of transphobia on Turf Island. But no, we have the policy, of course, The ECF, the governing chess organization in England, announced on social media that it will not exclude trans women, and, quote, this position will not change, despite the FIDE's policy. Trans women have worked on behalf of the ECF and played in ECF events, as have trans women in various other chess federations. The ECF notes that similar positions have been adopted by the German Chess Federation, the French Chess Federation, and the United States Chess Federation. The new FIDE rules are also incompatible with English law, particularly with regard to the release of personal data. We cannot see the point of the 2-year suspension of the right to participate in women-only competitions, which we view as discriminatory. ECF restates its commitment to being an inclusive organization that is welcoming to all. So it's like, not only is this policy sparking backlash amongst queer groups, trans rights activists, and all that, but in the English League, English Chess Federation, again, on one of the most transphobic islands on this planet, they're reaffirming trans women's right to participate as women within the league. So, yeah, of all places, it's England. But it's good to see. After so much stupidity about it, it's nice to see that there are, you know, like several countries who are saying, we are going to just stand up to this. This is not in line with our values. The 2-year imposition on your inability to play is like uncool. Also interesting is that the English Federation, I believe, is the oldest one in chess. Like, it was founded in, like, chess leagues were a thing beginning in England. That, I mean, I wouldn't put it past, for sure. So, yeah, I will say it's nice to see that little bit of good news. And it's, like, funny and still frustrating because, like, I can't just leave it at, haha, you people are dumb. You think that trans women are, like, biologically superior to cis women. Because I know that it ultimately is, like, part of the, like, fascist attempt to squeeze trans people out of public existence and, like, force us out of the spaces that we rightfully occupy. But at least we get a little bit. We get a nugget. We get a little taste. A little morsel of good news. Silent Partner, thank you so much for the $30 dono. Fox is a pox on the world. When that old Murdoch parasite drops off, the world will be a slightly better place, although I doubt the young Murdochs are any better. Yeah, true enough. Thank you so much for the dono. I appreciate you lurking, and then just coming in to drop some truth bombs on us. Always nice. I have my shirt off, or I took off my jacket, but I will flex again later if we hit 150. Chess.com is also woke. Oh, yeah, and so, of course, like, and I don't want to go too far into this here at the end, but I will say that, you know, speaking to the whole difference between men's and women's chess and things, there are women chess players who are denouncing the sexist behavior as well. Chess.com article contains mentions of sexual abuse that may be triggering for readers. A group of women chess players come out and say, quote, "We are convinced that this harassment and these assaults are still one of the main reasons why women and young girls, especially in their teens, stop playing chess." And it goes on, like, 14 of France's top women chess players have published an open letter denouncing the sexist or sexual violence that they have suffered. So there is already kind of an upset happening. You know, this article came out August 4, or was updated August 4, so it may have come out before that. And this was, like, there's already some shakiness going on within the chess world regarding the treatment of different players based on their genders. So at the same time as we have people going, oh, we need to protect women's chess, they're also allowing women to be, like, harassed or abused in the like, anytime they're coming in contact with men. So anyway, it's an effort of the manosphere to keep dominance, I suspect, banning trans people from chess. However, they do make themselves appear very weak by implying that they think trans people are superior to them intellectually. I strongly suspect this announcement was using transphobia to avoid discussing the wider sexism issues. Could very well, yeah, okay, so I think that's fair. That the FIDE had this council meeting and that they're pushing this news about transphobia and, like, maybe even just using it, like, oh, maybe even in 2 years they plan on allowing trans women to participate, but they're trying to cover for this whole sexism scandal. Could very well be the case. To be fair, any trans person is probably smarter than any transphobe, so they are right in a way. Listen, trans people have the right to be stupid, okay? We have the right to be no thoughts, head empty. We are better, stronger, faster, whatever. We are all those things, okay? But we don't have to be. Let trans people be stupid. We deserve it. We deserve it. Yes, harder, better, faster, stronger dicks. No thoughts, head empty. It's one of my favorite things about taking a break from the internet. And, like, honestly, when you guys take a break from the internet, because you should do it once in a while, when you do that, I recommend doing a whole, like, your computer is inaccessible to you. And, like, remove whatever apps from your phone are the problematic apps. My GF is often no thoughts head empty, and she's my favorite trans person. No thoughts. No Twitch thoughts. I plan to go camping for that reason. Ooh, that sounds very exciting, Junebug. Going camping sounds like a lot of fun. We do have one more kind of news thing that we're going to talk about today. Oh my god, I need to pull up my stream notes and update them. I haven't really been looking at any of this work stuff lately. Was 8:10 really the last time I streamed? There's no way. I streamed on 8:13, but I can't remember what we talked about. What did we talk about on 8:13? Do you guys remember what we talked about? I'm just gonna say IDK for now. Dropping stuff on the floor. And then whatever today is another stream day. Is today the 22nd? Oh my god. It's almost September, y'all. Time is moving in a direction. No head, fed humpy? I don't know what that means, but I agree. Okay, so we just talked about trans women in chess, and now we're gonna talk about fatal shooting over flag. I missed a few days, like 2 weeks of my month was just spent in a little cage with no news or internet. You genuinely need to turn your brain off sometimes and get off of Twitter. I mean, I've been on Blue Sky. Things are a lot nicer on Blue Sky. People post, like, I follow a lot of sex workers, so, you know, people be posting porn, people be shit posting. Sometimes people post, like, actual discourse or news or what have you, but it's overall much more pleasant so far. I was in a hospital, not jail. Okay, good to know. Good to know, Adrian. I hope that you were okay after being in the hospital. Was 8:13 trans bathroom wins? No, that was 8:10. I'll have to look through my stream stuff and figure it out. All good? Okay, good. I stayed in a cabin over the weekend with my partner and their family. It was kind of nice having no phone signal. I'm telling you, touch grass means don't bring your phone with you. Frankly. But it's good to be back, I will say. As much as I'm, you know, talking about how great it was to not be on the internet, consequently that means that I did not get to chat with you all. And, of course, it is quite nice to do that. We have a little cozy little area here. It's a good time. Okay, we have the Los Angeles Blade. And we have CBC Canada news. Excuse me. I'm yawning already. It's 7 o'clock. This is what summertime does. Does anybody else, even if you're inside all day during the summer, do you feel like you, like, just want to go to sleep at, like, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? I think that it's, like, a summer thing. I literally had a 3-hour nap this afternoon. Right. Like, do we kind of biologically shut down when it's this hot? Just no, I just don't want to do it. Like, I just want to shut my brain off and be completely inactive for this chunk of the day between like 3 and 5. Okay, cool. Many apex predators do this in hot areas and then do most of their hunting at night. Yeah. Maybe I should just embrace the nap. Maybe I gotta embrace the afternoon nap. Ugh. We got crazy news to talk about. And then that's our last serious topic for the day. I don't know how long today's stream is going to be either. Having just got back into it and everything. I love Scooby Doom. Yeah, arguing about what's the best Scooby Doom movie. That would be a hell of a crossover. Can you imagine, like, Shaggy in the Doom guy suit? I do the sleepy thing only when I'm cold. Heat gets me going big time. Yeah, I have, like, a fucking heart condition now that's exacerbates the heat stuff. No need to grind the least optimal part of the day. Yeah, only the apex predator humans be napping in the afternoon. Does that imply doomy snacks? Doomy snacks! Oh my gosh, delicious. Or is Scooby in the Doom guy suit? Is it Shaggy or is it Scooby? Or do you, like, get to pick your player character? So at the beginning, if you really wanted, you could play Velma. But, like, the Doom suit doesn't scale in size, so she's just got all this, like, really oversized armor all over the place. Scooby Souls! Yes! Lovely. I think I am gonna have to make some adjustments to the camera angle and stuff. But for today, we're still figuring stuff out. I just think that it's like I'm either too short or I'm too tall. I just need to be like, I think that just needs to be a little bit zoomed out or something, which is what I did earlier. I did zoom it out just ever so slightly. But now I'm so short. It's kind of closer to the size that things were before. Now you can see the side of my bookshelf. Oh no, don't look at my bookshelf, it's lewd. No bookshelf. Are you making this a game? I can't design game. Listen, I will license to Hanna-Barbera. I will have Hanna-Barbera pay me for this idea. That's what I'll do. No bookshelf, head empty. Yeah, wouldn't it be funny if, like, it panned over to the bookshelf and it was just an empty bookshelf? No, it's a full bookshelf because books are apparently really good at, like, stifling noise. And so, obviously, that's one of my main goals for the stream setup is, you know, I want to, like, minimize the amount of reflection on the noise. And I think it's going okay so far. Like, to me, it sounds very non-echoey in this space. So I think that I have succeeded at least somewhat. Okay. There is a game where you can fight as Velma. Show me your books, Smuggy. Nope, my books are lewd. They're too lewd. You can't see my books. Every game could use a good Shaggy mod. Like, every game should have a Shaggy mode, and Shaggy mode is like God mode. Excuse me. I am going to change things out seasonally on this table, by the way. So, if anybody's interested in that kind of thing. I was kind of unsure if it should go over here, or if it should go over here. Do you have any opinions on that? I think that it kind of works better over here. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. My bookshelf is... Oh, you're saying... You're accusing me of having a bookshelf full of only porn and dragon books? I mean, there is, like... There's a non-zero number of dragon books on there. Is there any porn on my shelf? I don't think so. But I have a P.O. box, so... Porn books and dragon books, or porn and dragon books. Dragon porn? We're saying the P word too much. I gotta stop. Yeah, no shortage of books to read. I have a lot of flower and plant books. I recently got, oh yeah, this is a book that I recently got, and it was one that I got after having looked it up for a while. So, by the way, be aware that if you buy books like this, that are like foraging books, do your research, and make sure that it's like not an AI written book that has used someone's name. And like authors are having this issue where they write their like AI books get written, and then this some author's name gets attached to it, and then they can't have it removed from their profile on Amazon Books, and it's like just super fucked up. So if you look up any foraging or herbs or mushroom books, especially if you're going to be trying to identify things for the purpose of eating them, you know, that is not a plant book. I know it's not a plant book, but it's like Mushrooming with Confidence, a guide to collecting edible and tasty mushrooms. So instead of being a thing that's trying to make like, you know, make it so that you can identify every mushroom or hundreds of mushrooms, it focuses on ones that are delicious and that you can identify through like a bunch of positive identification processes. And it's cool because, let's see, this page, is this one? Yeah, like it's cool because on the page it has like, it goes into detail on all these other pages, but then it's like there's like this final kind of summary page, and on the top these are like all the different color possible caps. Like these are all the different colors that the cap could be, and these are all the different colors that the gills, this is all the different colors that the gills could be, just like in a bunch of different rectangles, which is really cool. So that was a cool book that I got recently. I'm excited to keep that in the bathroom to read while I'm pooping. I would really want to mushroom forage with another person who's been at it a decade or so. Like, I don't disagree with you on that. You like to do it with an experienced person is probably better. I mean, the only mushrooms that I've gone looking for in the wild have been morels, and there is a page for morels in there. But morels are like literally impossible to fuck up. It's like literally impossible to misidentify morel mushrooms because the only thing that looks like looks like a morel, if you cut it open, it's very obvious because morels are hollow. So, if they have gills, do you think they are also meant to be underwater? Coral mushrooms, I think that we would be terrified. Like, it would be terrifying if mushrooms could grow in salt water. That would be awful. My friend's brother would bring morels to pagan gathering to saute. Okay, listen, morels are delicious, but I think that their texture goes wrong when you try to saute them. My personal opinion is that morel mushrooms are best when they're very, very lightly breaded and then fried. Just like salt, pepper, tiny bit of flour. You get them all coated in it, but then you dust them off quite like thoroughly. You like smack them around and get most of the excess flour off. And then just give them a nice little fry. Oh my god, they're fucking good. They're so delicious. Oh god, we're gonna have to talk about this shooting segment here soon. Here momentarily. If you have not yet hit the like button, consider hitting the like button. I haven't really been plugging that much this stream, but do it! There's 69 likes. 70 likes. Nice. Thank you. I've never breaded a mushroom before, but I do love to fry them. Yeah, it's like a really, really, really thin mushroom breading situation. Like when if I do fried mushrooms, like I really don't want there to be a lot of thick breading, because the thicker the breading is, the more likely you're going to end up with like, it's going to create air pockets and push the breading away from the mushroom. Yeah, quick undo. Get the likes back down to 69. Well, now see, the thing is, since we can fairly consistently hit the sex number, Now the next milestone is we have to consistently hit the weed number, right? I saute almost everything. I'm a lazy cook, but make things tasty enough. It's just morel mushrooms specifically. I just personally think that the best way that I've tried them so far has been in the really shallow fry. Did I put my water down? Yes, I did. I've breaded and fried mushrooms at work. They're delicious. They are often served when we have Italian items that day in the mess hall. Yeah. Or I have breaded and fried mushrooms at work. Mm-hmm. It's really hit or miss though, because if you do them with too much breading, then like I say, they'll end up with like bread falling off. And frankly, if there's too much breading, then they'll retain too much grease as well. But I don't know. That's just my personal preference. And now we've just had an entire mushroom conversation for like several minutes. We've got chanterelles, hedgehogs, and lobsters in our woods. I think we're supposed to have like hen of the woods or chicken of the woods, which I think those are two different mushrooms. But, you know, there's other ones that I could go find as opposed to just morel mushrooms. But I don't really go foraging that much. What does your shirt say? It is a picture of a juicer. Sorry, my massive tits are like kind of disforming the shirt. That's a juicer, and it's making orange juice, and you can see they're both evil. And then these oranges are saying, "You monster!" And the juicer's going, "Nyah," and so is the glass. So that's what the shirt is. I think that I got this shirt at Kmart when I was like 14. And it definitely wouldn't fit anymore if it wasn't for the fact that I cut off the sleeves. And honestly, I'm a little bit too round around the middle for it. I probably should turn it into a crop top. The best part of boobs is that they make tacky shirts way funnier. At first I thought it was a cookie mixer. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the oranges. Can you? Not really. You can't really see the oranges. So that's one downfall of being so zoomed in, is you can't see my shirt. Alas. Alas. So let's get in. Yeah, I'm reading your shirt, I promise. Oh gosh. Okay, so we'll talk about this story, and then we might wrap pretty soon after that. But we'll see how we go. It looks good. Working out makes things that are normally too small look better. I know. It's like I got these big shoulders and stuff. Had a little chit-chat with a personal trainer this week to help kind of clarify how I should be doing things, so that's cool too. Titties make me dumb. Don't they do that to, like, everybody? Okay. Well, we've been predicting for a while that the violence was going to continue to ramp up. And interestingly, so far, it seems like almost as though allies are at more of a risk, or maybe it's just that stories about allies end up in the news more. We covered a thing recently where it was in Canada, some people went to go buy some beers, and they bought some beers that had a rainbow on them, and someone attacked them. Like, the woman ended up having to go to the hospital, I think, and the man was okay, but like a man and a woman both got attacked at a liquor store for buying a beer with a rainbow on it. So we do know for sure that violence is happening, and it's like this interpersonal violence. This is the result of stochastic terrorism. You know, when you drum up a lot of fear about a group and you accuse them of being pedophiles and stuff and groomers and all this, then you end up, you know, justifying violence against them. So in California this past week, we have a man who fatally shoots a California store owner. Her name was Laura Ann Carlton. She was killed outside her own clothing store in Cedar Glen, California. I don't really love the framing of this article. Someone pointed out in the Discord server, Dizzy pointed out, that it says in a dispute over shop's pride flag, which almost like legitimizes the idea that there is a worthy dispute to be had here. So there was a dispute over an LGBTQ pride flag at a California clothing store, spiraling into deadly violence when a man shot and killed the 66-year-old business owner. And I believe this is the shop. So, you know, it's not just a a pride flag. She's got the Progress pride flag here. She's got multiple rainbows all over the front of her shop. Like, this woman is making it quite clear that she is supportive of queer folks. And this woman was pronounced dead at the store, at the location. It's not too far from LA. So if we think, oh yeah, California is safer, this is the thing about fleeing to different parts of the country and all this is, you know, we have the legal persecution in places like Florida and Texas, and I'm sure also a rise in interpersonal violence there. But at the same time, you have like mass shooting at a queer club in Colorado, violence at a school board meeting in California. And like, that was another recent instance of, you know, like literally like a fight breaking out between pro and anti-LGBT protesters, mostly from the anti side, obviously. And now this, where a woman has been like shot and killed because this guy criticized the pride flag hanging outside her business. She had 9 children. Now, she was like 66 years old, so I would probably guess that she had grown children. But still, she's like she's a grandma. Like, saying something about 9 children. How about the fact that she's probably a grandma, you know? So apparently before the shooting, the man, quote, made several disparaging remarks about a rainbow flag which stood outside the door. It was not immediately clear what happened when officers confronted the man, whose identity hasn't been released as of Sunday. Carlton, who preferred to be called Lori, is survived by her husband and 9 children in a blended family. Carlton did not identify as a member of the LGBTQ community, but she spent time helping and advocating for everyone and was defending her pride flags placed in front of her shop on the night of the shooting. So some guy was like, oh, this groomer shit, whatever. And she was like, no, this is about love. And like, oh, this, you know, all these people who've brought flowers to commemorate her, a lot of them have like rainbows on them as well. It kind of looks like her Progress pride flag may have been ripped down. Like, it's still hanging from this one, but it looks to me like it used to be kind of like stretched out on this pole. Or something. Like, I don't know why. Because this one over here is up and like flying. So I'm guessing that some point in the altercation, this flag got torn down. Yeah, it really only takes like one unhinged person, like one unstable person. Someone in the YouTube chat quotes, are you quoting from a different article saying authorities were aware of an X account, a Twitter account, belonging to the suspect, which contained a burning pride flag as the pinned post? Yikes. Yikes. We have seen an outpouring of support on social media. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Law enforcement agencies in several U.S. states have investigated the destruction of rainbow pride flags as potential hate crimes in recent years. Yeah, like, for this straight woman to be, like, dead after a hate crime against queer people, like, catching strays. Okay, is there anything else in here? Yeah, detectives learned that the suspect made several disparaging remarks about the rainbow flag. Pronounced deceased at the scene. Allegedly, the suspect initially fled on foot and was then located armed with a handgun. When deputies attempted to engage the suspect, he refused to drop his weapon, and a use of lethal force encounter occurred, and the suspect was pronounced deceased. No deputies were injured during the incident. Okay, so, like, this dude died. Like, he did the hate crime and then was running away from the police, and the police were trying to stop him. And so then, I love the, even, like, listen, I'm not ignoring the passive language. I want to draw attention to it. A use of lethal force encounter occurred, and the suspect was pronounced deceased. The passive voice, as opposed to, you know, police shot him and he's dead now, you know? I hope the bullets were wearing pride flags. I hope that every one of the guns in the police's hands had a rainbow emblazoned on the side, and yeah, and like a trans flag on every, Like, flying the trans flag instead of the American flag on your sleeve, yeah. The only thing that sucks about that is that you can't tell which way is forward and backward because the trans flag. You know what I mean? Yeah, with rainbow plastic tips. Okay, let's see if there's anything else in here. According to a source who is familiar, the suspect who arrived at Carlton's store erratically removed a pride flag hanging as a decoration outside the shop. See, okay, that's what I was talking about, this flag. Carlton confronted the unidentified man who had removed the flag, and then this man shot her multiple times before fleeing. San Bernardino County Supervisor Don Rowe says in a statement, quote, "Everyone deserves to live free of hate and discrimination and practice their constitutional right of freedom of speech. Lori was a remarkable member of the community, and I send my deepest condolences to her family in this time of grief." She's also labeled the shooting a, quote, "senseless act of hate and violence." California Governor Gavin Newsom said, "This is absolutely horrific." Oh, this is... California Governor Gavin Newsom on Twitter/X said, you just can't escape it. It's always going to be Twitter. Everybody's always going to call it Twitter. Quote, sorry, I know this is a very serious topic. You got to find the levity somewhere in it. Quote, "This is absolutely horrific. A shop owner has been shot and killed by a man after he criticized the pride flag hanging outside her business. Lori leaves behind her husband and 9 children. This disgusting hate has no place in California." So California is not guaranteed to be a safe place. If you live in California, like, you should avoid contact with any of these people in the first place. But, like, unfortunately for queer people, does that mean we're not allowed to put pride flags on our stuff? I mean, honestly, that's kind of the tactic that I take. I have a pride flag on my car, but it's, like, not very obvious, you know? Like, you have to hide it within a broader design, you know? Like, a tiny flag on a bigger design of, like, a character or something, you know, in order to be able to fly your pride and not get, like, murderated. Not get murderated. Yeah, there's no such thing as safe, just less dangerous. Like a 66-year-old woman, too. Did the guy think that she was a lesbian? Or was it, like... I don't know if we're gonna ever have any more information about what was actually said. Because was it the groomer stuff? Was it that rhetoric? You know, I don't know if we will ever have evidence of what actually went down because they killed the suspect. I'm guessing that he was being threatening in some way, like wouldn't drop the gun, something along those lines. A lethal force incident occurred. Good Lord. I mean, I'm glad that he's dead. I'm going to be totally clear about that. That's a good thing. I don't really think that, like, police being able to just execute people is a good thing. Like, there's a gun control problem here. There's a radicalization problem here. Like, you could take this conversation in so many different directions because there are so many different things. IMO, he should suffer in jail. I mean, fair enough. Like, you got off easy just being dead now. But now we don't have to share oxygen with him anymore. And, like, yeah, like, if he had died by, like, tripping and falling... I would be, like, not having to have a broader conversation about police involvement, you know, and, like, whether or not that was right. But, like, access to weapons for people who may or may not be emotionally stable, like, people who are involved in conspiracy theories and things like this, you know, there should be more vetting, obviously, because the fact that you can just get pissed off at someone and then shoot them and now they're dead, and then you're acting all erratic because you know that you're fucked up, and then you get, like, shot and killed by the police, you know? So the accessibility of the weapons is in and of itself the problem. I'm mostly upset that the police killed the guy. Apprehend. I mean, the thing is that he wouldn't relinquish his weapon. And, like, at least that's what the police say. So allegedly he wouldn't relinquish his weapon. And so you could say... that this is one of those times where it's like, if someone is acting erratically, if they're brandishing their weapon, the typical response for a non-white person is that they get shot and killed. I don't think we know. Why haven't they released the identification for this person? Or at least in this article. I wonder if there's a newer one where they do release, because he's dead. So it's not like they're trying to prevent him from getting murked or something as like a suspect. Can't blame gun laws for this one, though. The alleged killer used a semi-automatic handgun that was not registered to him, and he was not licensed to carry a concealed weapon. Yeah, I can criticize are you kidding me saying I can't blame gun laws for this? I mean, like, I'm blaming the accessibility of guns. Like, the fact that they're available this widely and that it's this normalized, you know? Do they not want to inflame the community? Like, I don't know. Yeah, exactly, Mama. If you have to hide it, is that even really flying the flag? If we're forced to be subtle about our pride so that only other queer people see it, then we're not really free to be ourselves in broader society. Yeah, it's like what is the definition of freedom? You know, do I really have freedom of speech if I can't say I love you to my partner in public or hold hands with my partner in public? Like, I'm not saying that that's really a problem for me specifically, but like, in general, if you can't be gay in public, like, do you actually have the right to be gay? Like, if your car gets trashed because you have a gay sticker on it, do you actually materially have the right to have that sticker and to display it? If people can destroy it, and then there's this really slow, often inadequate process for addressing the harm after the fact, you know? They did name him. Let me see if I can find the most recent article. I'm reading. Who has not been identified. Additional details were not known. Oh, come on, LA Times. The man who has not been identified. A lot of these articles, even one that just came out one day ago, is not naming this guy. Was there the name? Did someone post it in chat? Travis was the name. I wonder why so many of these articles don't have the name. Personally, I believe they shouldn't be named to avoid copycats. Well, I mean, it's not really that I care about his name, and I want to be clear about that. I'm just interested in what are the demographics, because of, like, what kind of police response was gonna make sense in that context, you know? Some were betting that the shooter was black or Muslim, or like otherwise racialized. Travis Ikeguchi. It could be that they're Asian based on a picture. Okay, so I guess, you know, potentially a non-white person, like Asian-sounding name, maybe an Asian photo. He was in his 20s and highly homophobic with a Japanese last name. I don't know what Hapa means. Okay, we do have information about the shooter from Ari. See, this is what happens when I'm not on Twitter very much. Yeah, it is definitely worth pointing out the effect that right-wing media personalities like Matt Walsh, Jordan Peterson, and Benny Johnson have, because this guy was being fed a steady diet of anti-queer hate. Here we go. Okay, this is the person, this is allegedly the person, Travis, retweeted Matt Walsh talking about Target and how it's Target's turn after Bud Light. Jordan B. Peterson, oh yeah, simple normality has now become an offense punishable by the woke mob of narcissists and psychopaths. The narcissism thing makes me want to fucking blow my brains out. And I'm retweeting this dude who says, this is child abuse and the parents and criminal groomer should be arrested. Like, just a kid at a Pride event. Like, wow, a mother holding a 2-year-old child at a Pride event. How dare you? And then he himself posted. Okay, I could see how a police officer might assume that this guy is like Hispanic and would then shoot him. Like I can kind of see that based on this picture. I can't really, can you see him? Not really. You can't really see him. There. You can see him a little bit. Not really much better, but a little bit. It's not really working. But yeah, he's like brown and has like a pretty wide jaw. Like to me, he looks more Pacific Islander, but I could definitely see how an interaction with police could result in this guy getting shot if he was acting erratic and like had a gun. But yeah, just posting anti-queer stuff and like, oh yeah, we need to cut off the LGB from the TIQA plus. Intersex people get lumped in with trans people as like degenerates who are complete. Like we can tolerate faggotry and lesbianism, but we cannot tolerate people who are literally born with a difference of sex development. Yikes. Yeah, racism would explain why he was shot, because I think a white person they would have dealt with. Being a beefy guy is way more relevant to being tan and cops deciding to use guns. I mean, the cops themselves said that he had a weapon and that was their main concern. So if the dude had a gun, I don't really know how him being beefy would be that much of a factor. But, yeah. Oh, so half Asian Pacific Islander is what HAPA stands for. Okay, I wasn't familiar with that. But yeah, okay. Wow, I have like laser pinpoint accuracy, apparently, on guessing where people are from in the world. Oh, he was elaborating that the LGB drop the T stuff doesn't go far enough in that tweet. I mean, yeah, this is a dude who clearly bought into the grooming shit, and like, because maybe if she just had like rainbow flags, maybe that would have been less of a problem. If you allegedly support LGB, then you wouldn't have a problem with rainbows. But she also had the Progress Pride flag with the trans colors on it, and that's the one that he ripped down. So it stands to reason to me that this was, yeah, like very specifically anti-trans motivated. Phrenology GeoGuessr. Oh my god. I mean, it's not my intention. Anyway. So yeah, I mean, I think that context sort of makes the whole situation make a little bit more sense. Like, this person has been feeding knowledge off of, like, Matt Walsh and other, frankly, like, totally disgusting people like that. And the natural consequence of those folks saying, oh, we can't let them get away with this, and Americans use their guns. Being a beefy guy is way more relevant than being tan and cops deciding to use guns. Please shut the fuck up. Like, are you really gonna tell me that being muscular is more important than being non-white? Are you for real right now? Bodybuilding white men who get pulled over. Watch out! You're gonna get shot. Fucking, are you kidding me? Anyway, yeah, I guess there is like the perspective that, yeah, I had a guy tell me I was demonic because I had characteristics of both genders at the same time, even though I was born that way, and that my body reminded him of depictions of the devil, etc. He thought I could not be God's creation, or that, quote, such things can never be holy. Like, literally, you are the way that you were made by God, like, according to your belief structure, and, like, nope. Like, nope, you are not one of God's children, apparently. You're not allowed. You were created specifically by the devil, apparently. Wow, the devil has really leveled up his powers. If he is able to take part in creation, he gave you a degenerate soul or something. There's like he's figured out a recycling program by now. You know, the souls go through like a rigorous cleaning process, and then they put them back out there. Oh, the burp. Cool. Yes. If I'm one of God's kids, I'm disowning him. Like, yeah, I refuse to be part of this anymore. Here we go with the Scientology. Are we talking about Scientology? I guess we each get our own personal planet afterwards, you know? We are all God's children, and he left us in a hot car. God, whatever it is that you have cooking, it's done. Please take us out of the microwave. Like, please. Oh, God. Anyway, kind of inappropriate to meme and laugh at the end of, like, such a serious segment. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know what... I mean, like, I've called it. I called this, like, a year ago. We've been knowing that this violence was going to ramp up. I think the only thing that's surprising about it to me is how often allies are getting caught up. Like, first, like, one thing, it kind of surprises me how frequently we've been seeing white trans men having violence enacted toward them. And we've talked about that on the channel a couple times recently. I probably won't remember to put a video in the cards, but we've talked about, like, a couple instances of white trans men being killed or assaulted, and those are not the stories that you tend to imagine you're going to hear about anti-trans violence, because, you know, the narrative, and frankly, the statistics do show this, but the main narrative is that black trans women and other trans women of color tend to be more targeted in like interpersonal violence and tend to lose their lives at a higher rate. But yeah, we're seeing increased numbers of transgender men having violence enacted toward them. And then on top of that, you also just have people standing too close to us getting caught up in this violence and nonsense, and like losing a beloved member of a community who literally just owned a clothing store. Like a grandma, most likely she was 66 and she had 9 kids. She was a grandma, just like... And then this 20 or 30-year-old guy loses his mind. Yeah, he was 27. So, like, this 27-year-old has bought so far into a conspiracy theory that he's gonna, A, destroy property. Like, he attempted to destroy her property by ripping her flag down, and then continue to engage in harassment and escalating a conversation until the point that he felt the need to, like, shoot her multiple times. She had multiple gunshot wounds, to be clear. What else can we do but laugh? Feels like the only way to acclimate to this shit nowadays. Under the current government, we have no way to push forward, only reduce harm. Yeah. So, you know, there's no such thing as being totally safe. There's only being less unsafe. And, you know, we're just gonna have to keep trucking along day by day. Like, that's all you can really do. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Like, take care of yourself, put on your oxygen mask, and then start taking care of other people around you. And keep fighting the good fight, you know? You gotta try to live well in the meantime. You gotta find happiness in the brief gaps between disasters. That's the main thing. And take Stop the Bleed course. Yeah, if you want to be prepared in the case of an emergency. Stop the Bleed courses are, like, free, by the way. You know, you can do most of it online. It's just, like, some slideshows and, like, a couple of, like, quiz questions, basically. That's the majority of it. And then you can go in person and say, I've already taken the online section of this. I'm just here to learn how to apply a tourniquet and all that stuff. And then for free, because a lot of, like, it's like fire departments, for the most part, host Stop the Bleed courses. So, you know, go take the class. It's free, and, like, get a tourniquet kit and whatever. You know, obviously, like, a tourniquet is something that you want to do as, like, a last resort. You know, get a pack, like a Stop the Bleed pack. Mama, yeah. Come on. That's too dark. Yeah, Stop the Bleed. That's very silly. If you wait a few minutes, the bleed stops on its own. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, God. Yeah, emergency first aid, basically. Stop the bleed type stuff. walk softly, like walk carefully, be cautious of where you go, and like try to de-escalate and get away from situations where you can. If some belligerent guy comes up to you and starts bitching at you about your flag, the main thing that you should try to do is get out of that situation as soon as possible and not really try to challenge the opposition. Just be like, yeah, I'm sorry, man, you're right. And then try to get away from that situation as fast as possible. It's not worth it to put your body in danger as a queer person. Like, I frankly, I'm proud that there are allies that will be like, yeah, fuck you, groomers are not real, like, in this context, like, this is not the narrative. And yeah, like, I appreciate that. And I think that those people are necessary in the movement. I would never recommend to a queer person or a trans person that you should make that same attempt, Like, I'm sure that plenty of us do stand up to bullies and want to stand up to bullies, but it's like, I'm not going to say like, yeah, let's reduce the number of trans people by throwing ourselves in front of this bus right now. Important. Oh, this is good. If you've ever practiced with a tourniquet, mark it very clearly as one that has been used for practice before, and then get a new one for actual emergency use. I've seen windlasses break from stress. That's very good to know. Okay, we're gonna end on a Vosh segment. Is that what we're gonna do? We will laugh and enjoy ourselves. Ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-bum. Vouch. Sir? Oh, wow, why is this 18 minutes long? Alright, sure, let's do it.
This couple was afraid to watch Oppenheimer because of Florence Pugh seeing the horror. What?
Okay, so I research everything before we watch it, but especially this movie. Obviously, I heard about it. Yes, we wanted to see it. It has an amazing rating. We prepared ourselves. I didn't know when the scene was going to happen, and I also didn't understand how the scene was happening. I thought it was just several minutes straight of, but it wasn't. It was actually broken up into like, it would do a flash of that, and then it would do a flash of normal life, and then it would do a flash of the scene, and then it was like very, back and forth. So it was really difficult to avoid it, but obviously.
Lol, my G.
This is, oh wow, I love that, like, Vosh and I both had the impulse to pause at the same time. But like, what kind of weird Puritanism bullshit is this? Is she about to be like, I didn't want my partner to look at the screen during the movie when the sex scene was happening?
GF tried half-heartedly to cover my eyes with Florence Pugh came on because she was jealous. I'd consider that like a red flag, unless that was like really joking. I don't know, man. People like grown-ass adults who get weird about shit like this. I don't know.
True.
My husband and I talk about everything. If we go anywhere or we go see anything, even if it's a concert, movie, an event, we have a game plan. We talk about things.
What?
Like, what if you get triggered? What if I get triggered? Really, the problem isn't what if you get triggered. The problem is what if I get triggered, because I don't want my night to be ruined by being triggered by something on a screen.
Is this a porn addiction thing?
Yeah,
what is the context? Addiction and betrayal trauma talk directly to me here.
That's a worthy question of like, is this like some kind of porn addiction trauma shit that like Christians get all weird about it?
She has Jesus shit in her hands.
Yeah, the Jesus shit. Oh my god, yeah, she has a bunch of anti-porn posts.
Okay. All right, so it's like weird about porn. Okay, yeah. Porn addict? I don't know.
So essentially, what we did was when the scene came up, when things were happening, he literally closed his eyes and laid his head on my shoulder. Like, if this is my shoulder, like this is my shoulder, like this. And then I would just like let him know whenever it was over. And it literally, I will tell you what right now, took nothing away from the story. Him not looking at the screen during did not change the storyline, did not change anything.
She has a Jesus fish on her wrist tattooed. which is like, hey, Leviticus says don't tattoo your body. You committed a sin in the same book as the anti-gay thing, you know? As an ace person, this is extra funny to me. I bet she is cold in the bedroom too. Yeah, imagine being like this like stiff and unappealing to your husband, and then also demanding that he not look at like simulated sex acts in a like fucking Hollywood movie. If anybody here is addicted to porn, I'm a dealer. Yeah, mama posts free stuff, you know? Mama's got the free Fansly. Or you have OnlyFans, not Fansly? I'm the one with a Fansly. That's a different thing.
And talk about it.
So creepy. This is a grown-ass adult. Yeah, it's so weird. This doesn't have anything to do with porn addiction. This has to do with like Christian moralizing. This isn't like a health or whatever thing. Is anyone else like really tired of the whole why do you have sex scenes in your movie? It doesn't add anything. You realize like if you had that attitude towards art, you could cut out every part of every movie.
Yeah, so is the rest of this like Vosh going off about that whole subject of like people who are like, oh, why do you have so many sex scenes in your thing? It's like, yeah, okay, sometimes it's like gratuitous or whatever, but you could also say the same of action scenes. Frankly, more often during an action scene than in a sex scene, I'm sitting there bored going like, what is the point of this scene? Like, in what way is this moving the fucking story forward? Okay, you know? Like, I would say the majority of the sex scenes in like, you know, HBO's Game of Thrones, for example, was, you know, it was, most of them were moving the plot forward somehow, or they were explaining something about your character, you know? Like, literally, we are introduced to Tyrion Lannister in a sex scene because, like, that's a big part of his character. You're literally, the first time you see Tyrion Lannister on screen, he is getting his dick sucked. I got an OnlyFans too, but I'm just starting. Yes, that's exciting. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like the no thoughts head empty kind of philosophy makes doing OnlyFans stuff look very appealing, you know? So I totally get it. The ones who are weird about porn are major red flag for me. If my partner told me not to watch porn, I would run. Yeah. She also has the head wrap going on. Wait, what? What head wrap are you talking about, Anansi? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, wait, in one of these pictures or something? Did I just miss it? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Excuse me. My OnlyFans is my WoW mount collection. I just realized that Tyrion Lannister and Scanlan Shorthand are both debaucherous little folks introduced in sex scenes. I'm not familiar with Scanlan Shorthand. I don't have the looks for OnlyFans, so I post flowers. I feel like there's something for everyone out there. So, you know, like in the realm of feet pics, I bet that there are people who really like bunions and like weird gnarly feet. So she has a head wrap on in the video. I've seen a lot of them in Idaho. Interesting. Why is it that you noticed that? Or like, what about that? Oh, it's to show modesty to God, like covering the top of the head kind of thing. Extra Mormon, yeah. Extra, double, triple Mormon. Yeah, I've been watching more Vosh content lately. So, oh wait, is there more? Oh god, he keeps reacting to more of her content. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. Maybe we'll watch a little bit more of this. Just a little bit more. And then I'm gonna wrap up soon. Because I need dinner. Come on, come on.
It's like a cringe Reddit. And they're like posting my content on there, which is hilarious because it's like, oh, I know what Reddit is used for. Pretty much every single woman I talk to who's been betrayed has been their boyfriend or their husband. A major part of their porn addiction is Reddit. There's tons of porn on Reddit, tons of like RAPE fantasy Reddits and stuff like that. And incel Reddits as well. So, not worried about that.
I know what Reddit is used for. Porn and nothing else.
Other thing is, I guess Barstool Sports on Twitter shared my video that I made about Oppenheimer just the video I made about how like my husband and I had to have a game plan going into it, because we knew, like, we look up the parental guide for everything that we watch, because I don't want to be triggered whenever we watch anything. I don't want to, like, if there's going to be lots of sex scenes, I don't want to watch it. If there's going to be a few, you know, case by case basis.
She finds sex scenes in TV shows triggering. Like, honestly, go to therapy. Like, go to therapy, you weirdo. If you're legitimately triggered, like if you legitimately have a trauma trigger, then what you need is therapy. Otherwise, what you need to do is grow the fuck up. Grow up. Be a big girl. She's a big girl. Look at her adult septum piercing, you know? Well, so she's on TikTok, right? So I'm not gonna, like, bitch at her for censoring by saying corn instead of porn or saying sex instead of sex, because she's on TikTok and you have to limit yourself, right? You have to only say certain things. What if she just doesn't know or doesn't want to admit that she's asexual? Well, so, yeah, everybody always says this to me, so I'm gonna repeat it now. Being asexual doesn't mean that you're sex repulsed. But she's talking about, like, betrayal. She said anybody whose husband has betrayed them knows about Reddit. Like, she is framing it in this way. Yeah, this woman definitely calls her vagina a sacred passage. So she's watching, to be clear, she watches the sex scenes and then she taps her husband and lets him know that it's over. So she's still watching them and preventing her husband from doing it. Yeah, she's more hung up on sex than my grandparents were, who were over 90 years old when they died. Amen. Those scenes gross me out. I will never grow up. Listen, if you're, like, sex repulsed, that's different than thinking, like, you know, this is the equivalent of porn, and porn, if my husband watches it, then he's betraying me. Like, oh my god. Sex scenes are Jover. They're Jover. No more sex scenes allowed. Oh my god. Okay, well, y'all, I am ready to be off of this now, and I need to make some dinner for myself. So I am gonna go do that thing and potentially reframe my whole thing so that I can slouch and not be way at the bottom of frame. Like, I need to tilt this down a little bit, I guess, so it's pointed more at me. Anyway, so I hope that you like the new stream setup, and it's, like, relatively similar to the one that we had before, but so we kept some consistency a little bit. And so as far as I know, I'm going to see you guys again on Thursday. And yeah, you know, what horrors lie ahead of us. If you ever want your story or your subject to end up on stream, if you have any requests, if you're like, oh, I don't have any links, but there's a discourse that I want Lux to talk about, you're free to go join the Discord and post in the stream recommendations channel, where I regularly check for links there when I'm preparing the show. So in that way, you kind of help decide what the show is going to be about, what we're going to talk about. So thank you all for your participation. There's also more voice chat stuff going on in there in the server nowadays. So if you want to go over there and join for that, also an option. So thank you all so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for your donations. Oh, we'll do one more. Okay. And now I'm going to go. Okay. Love you. Bye.